Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We are really glad you're here because today we are tackling a dilemma that is probably, well, keeping you up at night.
Definitely if you run a business.
Right. If you're a founder or just someone in sales trying to make a mark, you know you need to be creating content. You know you need to be visible, but you're stuck in this brutal tug of war.
It is the classic dilemma of the modern creator economy. On one side, you have the absolute necessity of building, well, trust.
Mm-hmm.
You need to show your face, shake hands digitally and prove you are a human being worth doing business with. And that usually requires time and energy.
A lot of energy. And on the other side, you have the pressure for volume. You feel like you need to be everywhere all the time, feeding that algorithm.
And that's where the promise of AI comes in, scaling you to infinity without you lifting a finger. It sounds like a dream.
It does. But the question we're really digging into today is, which path actually leads to a signed contract? We aren't talking about getting likes on TikTok.
No, not going viral for 15 minutes. We are talking about closing deals, generating actual revenue.
Exactly. So I want you to imagine you are a founder, you have a new service to launch, maybe you just need to keep your consulting pipeline full, and you need to produce a standard, let's call it a cornerstone asset, a 50-minute deep dive of your own.
A sales presentation, a thought leadership discussion, something substantial.
Right. And you have 3 distinct paths you can take. Path number 1.
Path number 1, the traditional studio. The lights, the crew, the producer, the sound engineer, the whole Hollywood treatment. That's the legacy model.
Okay. Path number 2.
Path number 2, the digital first route. Generative AI. We're talking VO3, Sora, those hyper-realistic avatars that are flooding our feeds. No cameras, no mics, just prompts.
And the third path.
And path number 3, the Voxel Micro Video Lab. This is that hybrid, live-to-tape, efficiency-focused human model that's been popping up.
So we have a massive stack of sources here. Pricing sheets, cost breakdowns from industry analysts, ROI reports. And our mission today is just to strip away all the hype.
Just the numbers.
Cold, hard numbers, cost, quality, and most importantly, return on investment. And I have to say, looking at this data, there's a counterintuitive fact buried in here that actually shocked me.
It catches almost everyone off guard. It goes against the entire narrative we've been sold for the last 2 years.
It turns out the cheap, scalable AI option might actually be the most expensive way to produce long-form content.
By a huge margin. It just turns the whole AI is free narrative completely on its head.
So let's unpack this. Let's start with the wallet, because that's where the pain usually starts. We're using a 50-minute episode as our benchmark. Why 50 minutes?
Because 50 minutes is really the sweet spot for a sales conversation. I mean, if you look at the psychology of sales, you need time. Time to demonstrate expertise, handle objections, build a real narrative.
It's a podcast, a webinar, a keynote speech.
Right. If you can hold someone's attention for 50 minutes, you are halfway to a sale. You can't close a 5-figure consulting deal in a 6-second clip.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
So I want to make this 50-minute video. Let's look at the Voxel Micro Video Lab model first. The sources have their 2026 launch rates. How does this pricing actually work?
Voxel operates on what they call a time-in-the-room model. This is really critical to understand.
Okay.
You're not paying for the output, you're paying for the access. It's a flat rate. Think of it like renting a tennis court. You pay for the hour, and whether you hit 1 ball or 1,000, the price is the same.
And what is that price? Give me the sticker shock.
So the data shows an entry-level tier, they call it the Velocity Starter, at roughly $30 per session.
$30, that's less than a decent lunch in the city.
It is incredibly low. That gets you a smaller suite, a 2-camera setup, pro lighting. Now, if you want the global leader suite, the big 400-square-foot room with 4 cameras.
So like a panel discussion or something.
Exactly. Or a fireside chat. That caps out at around $140 per session.
So just so I'm clear for the listener, if I walk into a Voxel lab, sit down, talk for 50 minutes about my industry, and then I walk out, I have spent between $30 and $140.
Correct. And you walk out with the files, the cameras, the lights, the audio engineering. It's all baked into that flat rate. There's no meter running on the pixels.
Okay, hold that number in your head, 30 to 140. Now, let's pivot to AI, because I think the perception, and I'm guilty of this too, is that AI is basically free.
Right. I pay $20 a month for ChatGPT, so video must be the same.
Exactly.
And that is the trap. That is exactly where founders get burned. We have to distinguish between budget AI and cinematic AI. Sure, you can get a low-res, jerky avatar for a flat monthly fee.
But you're not closing a high-ticket sale with that.
No, you can't look like a glitchy video game character from 2005. You need cinematic quality VO3, Sora, that high-fidelity rendering.
The stuff that looks almost indistinguishable from reality.
Yeah.
You can see the pores on the skin.
Precisely. And the pricing model for that is totally different. It is not flat rate. It is consumption-based. You pay for compute. You pay per minute of generated video.
And what's the going rate for that high-end stuff?
The analysis we have suggests it hovers around $30 per minute.
Wait, $30 per minute. So 1 minute of AI video costs the same as an entire session at the entry-level Voxel studio.
Yes. And you have to understand why. It's not just generating the final video, it's the workflow. Think about how you use these tools. You write a prompt, the AI generates a clip, it's a little off.
Maybe the hand looks weird, or the inflection is wrong.
Right, or the background glitched. So what do? You refine the prompt and you generate it again.
It's like a slot machine. You just keep pulling the lever, hoping for the perfect result.
Exactly. And every single pull of that lever, every take, every revision, it burns compute credits, it burns money.
So unlike the studio, where I can just say this sentence again for free, in AI, every single do-over costs me cash.
That's it. So if we do the math for a 50-minute finished episode and you factor in all the necessary rerolls and refinements, you are looking at roughly $1,500.
$1,500.
In compute costs alone.
That is just a staggering discrepancy. $140 for the top-tier human studio versus $1,500 for the AI version.
It's because the pricing curves are opposite. AI pricing is linear. The longer the content, the more you pay. The Voxel model rewards long form. Once you've paid to get in the room, the cost of that 49th minute is zero.
That is a huge aha moment. AI penalizes length, studios reward it.
Exactly. If you're making a 15-second TikTok, AI is cheap. If you're making a deep dive sales asset, AI becomes a luxury product.
So let's throw the third contender in, the traditional studio. We established Voxel is cheap, AI is deceptively expensive. Where does the legacy studio fit?
The traditional studio is what I call the overhead beast.
Yeah.
You're looking at room rates of, say, 100 to 150 per hour, which sounds comparable to Voxel at first glance.
Sounds okay, yeah.
But the trap here isn't the room. It's all the post-production.
Right, because usually in a traditional shoot, you aren't doing live to tape, are you?
No. You're shooting raw logs. You have separate audio files. You have a camera operator who needs to be paid. Then you have to sync it, color grade it, edit it. The breakdown we saw puts editing costs between $75 and $150 an hour.
So a 50-minute episode is not just 1 hour of work.
Oh, no. It's probably 10 hours of post-production work, easy. So that single episode, by the time it's ready for YouTube, has cost you anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000.
Ouch. So for a business owner trying to be consistent like
Yeah.
a weekly show, the traditional model is just burning cash.
It creates a massive friction point. I've seen it happen. If every time you turn on the mic, it costs you $2,000, you're going to second guess every single idea.
You start thinking, is this topic good enough to spend $2,000 on?
Yes. Whereas with the Voxel model at $30, that barrier to entry is just gone. You just go and create.
It changes the psychology of creation.
Completely. It moves you from production mode to conversation mode.
Okay, so on a pure cost basis for long-form content, Voxel wins by a landslide. But, and this is a massive but, cost isn't the only metric. If I produce a cheap video and nobody trusts it, I've wasted my $30.
Right, which means we have to talk about quality and the trust factor.
This is so crucial for sales. If I am selling a $5 ebook, maybe trust doesn't matter much. But if I'm a lawyer, a consultant,
You're asking for a high commitment. You're trading on authority. And the sources bring up this fascinating concept called human consciousness as a driver of engagement.
what does that mean in this context, human consciousness?
It sounds a little philosophical, but it's really practical. It means that listeners, especially in podcasting, are seeking a connection with another mind. They want to verify that there is a real person behind the information.
It's that feeling when you hear a host pause to think, or stumble over a word, or get passionate.
That's it. The sources argue that in a Voxel live-to-tape environment, you capture that performance. The imperfections are actually features, not bugs. When you stumble, correct yourself, and keep going, you are signaling to the listener, I am real, I am confident, and I am not reading a script.
Contrast that with the AI experience. The sources mention AI is the king of information density.
Right. If I need to know the weather or the stock price, I don't want a human connection. I just want the data. AI is perfect for that. It's clean, precise, and emotionless.
But if I'm trying to decide if I should hire you to restructure my entire company,
Then the AI creates a problem. It falls right into the Uncanny Valley. Even the best avatars have this tiny micro latency in their expressions. The eyes are a little too perfect. It creates a subconscious creepy feeling.
and I imagine there's a signaling problem too. If I send you an AI avatar to pitch my services, what does that say about me?
It says, I didn't care enough to show up. It signals you're outsourcing your personality. In a high-stakes sales environment, that is a death sentence. You're creating distance right when you want to create intimacy.
It's like sending a mannequin to a networking event. Here, talk to my mannequin.
Perfect analogy. And there's a term in the sources that I just love, AI slop.
AI slop, wow. Sounds appetizing.
It's a vivid term, isn't it? It refers to the incoming flood of just low-quality, mass-produced synthetic content. We are about to be drowning in it.
So paradoxically, as the internet fills up with this slop, the value of a real human face actually goes up.
It becomes a premium product. It's the difference between a handwritten letter and a spam email. By showing up in a studio, you are effectively proving you are not spam. You are signaling, I am a premium verified human.
That's a powerful way to frame it. Authenticity is a luxury good. Now, what about the traditional studio on quality? They offer the highest polish.
They do. If you're shooting a Super Bowl commercial, or what the sources call a brand anthem, one of those 2-minute videos for your homepage that needs to look like a movie, you go traditional. You need that control.
But for a weekly podcast,
For weekly content, the sources argue that perfect is actually a bottleneck. In the creator economy, people are suspicious of things that look too produced. If it looks like a TV commercial, my brain just filters it out as an ad.
but if it looks like a conversation,
Clean, well-lit, but natural, then I lean in. Voxel hits that middle ground. It's pro-casual.
okay, so Voxel wins on trust, AI on information density, traditional on prestige. Let's talk workflow and ROI, because business owners are busy.
Right, they don't have time to fiddle with cameras or prompts all day, and the Voxel model is built entirely around the concept of batching.
I am a huge fan of batching, doing everything at once.
Well, because the studio has the lighting and audio permanently dialed in, no setup, no teardown, you can walk in and record a month's worth of content in one afternoon.
Walk me through what that day looks like.
You show up at 1 p.m., the lights are already on, you record 4 50-minute episodes back-to-back, maybe you change your shirt in between. By 5 p.m., you are done. You walk out with the hard drive.
So you have 200 minutes of 4K content, and you don't have to think about recording again for 4 weeks.
Exactly. And the cost for that whole afternoon might be, what, $300 to $400 total?
Yeah.
If that content lands just one client, the ROI is basically infinite.
Okay, now let's look at the ROI for AI. We got to bash it on cost for long form, but the sources say it has a massive ROI in a different area. Localization.
This is where AI is absolutely unbeatable. Let's say you recorded those videos at Voxel. You have your hero asset in English. Now you feed that file into an AI tool like 11 Labs or DeepBrain.
And what happens?
You can instantly translate and dub that video into over 150 languages. And not just subtitles, it changes the lip movements to match the new language.
That is wild. So I record once in Chicago, and suddenly I am pitching to potential clients in Tokyo, Berlin, and Sao Paulo.
That's it. The stats show that companies using localized content see 1.5 times revenue growth. You just cannot do that with a human studio.
So the smart play isn't human or AI, it's human then AI.
That is the winning formula in these reports. Use the human element, the Voxel Studio, to create the hero content. Establish the trust. Then use AI to scale that content globally.
Or to slice it up into 50 short clips for social media.
Precisely. You leverage the strengths of both. You don't ask the human to translate, and you don't ask the AI to be the soul.
So where does the traditional studio fit in this ROI model?
It really struggles here. The workflow is just too slow. We're talking weeks of post-production. And in social selling, speed is currency. If a trend breaks on Monday, you want your takeout on Tuesday.
You can't wait 3 weeks for an editor.
Not at all. And speaking of editors, that brings us to the final piece. Hidden costs. We touched on editing, but the analysis we saw makes a really good point. Editing isn't just cutting out the ums and ahs.
No, and this is where people get burned.
Yeah.
If you try to save money by recording at home, webcam, USB mic, in your spare bedroom.
You introduce audio repair costs,
Yeah.
the echoey room, the dog barking, the air conditioner hum, all of that.
Right.
If your source audio is bad, You have to pay an engineer expensive hourly rates just to denoise it and fix it. It's like trying to fix a bad haircut. It's expensive and it never looks quite right.
Whereas the studio environment?
The room is sound treated. The mics are thousands of dollars. The raw file is pristine. You aren't paying an editor to fix problems. You're just paying them to add value, like cutting clips or adding captions.
So the cheap option of recording at home actually becomes expensive in post-production.
It shifts the spending to where it matters, the creation, not the cleanup.
This has been a really comprehensive breakdown. We've looked at the math, the psychology, the workflow. Let's bring this home for the listener. They're sitting there, they have a business to run, they need to start recording next week. What's the final verdict?
If we summarize the data, it comes down to your primary goal. If your goal is core sales and trust, if you need someone to believe in you enough to sign a contract, Voxel Micro Video Labs is the clear winner. Lowest cost, highest authenticity.
And if the goal is scale?
Then you layer in AI generation. It's unbeatable for localization, for repurposing. But, and this is the key takeaway, don't use it as the source of your long-form content. It's too expensive and it lacks the soul needed to close a deal.
And the traditional studio.
Keep that in your back pocket for your prestige moments, your Super Bowl ad, your main homepage trailer. It's not a tool for the weekly grind. It's a tool for special occasions.
You know, what really sticks with me from this is this idea of human consciousness becoming a premium feature.
That's the big macro trend here. We're entering an era where AI is going to flood the world with perfect, frictionless content. In that world, the simple act of a human showing up on camera, unfiltered, that becomes a luxury good. It becomes the ultimate differentiator.
It's almost ironic, isn't it? The technology advances so far that the most valuable thing becomes the most basic. Just a person in a room speaking their truth.
History tends to rhyme like that. Authenticity is a moat that AI hasn't figured out how to cross yet.
And that brings us to our final thought for you, the listener. We know AI is getting better. We know the cost will eventually come down.
It's inevitable.
So, here is the question to leave you with. If AI eventually mimics human chemistry perfectly, no Uncanny Valley, total emotional resonance, and the price drops to zero, will knowing it, is AI change whether you buy the product?
That is the deeper psychological question, isn't it? Do we buy the product or do we buy the person? And if the person is an algorithm, does the transaction lose its value?
Or is authenticity just a temporary economic moat that is about to dry up? Something to think about.
Indeed.
That's it for this deep dive. Whether you're batching content in a microlab or prompting a server farm, good luck with your sales. We'll catch you on the next one.